Hello everyone. Welcome to our video on Charting the Life Course, an Introduction. My name is Barb Safaris. I'm an Ohio Ambassador for Charting the Life Course, working with the Nysonger Center at The Ohio State University and the Family Resource Network of Ohio. I also work for the National or Nexus team for Charting the Life Course at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. A little bit about me. I've worked with people with disabilities, families, and professionals for over 45 years in the Cleveland, Ohio area. I'm also the oldest sister of two brothers who had disabilities. My youngest brother, Nick, had a developmental disability, and my middle brother, Jim, had an acquired disability after he was in an accident in his 30s. In this video, I'm going to give you an introduction of what is Charting the Life Course, share with you the core concept and the 8 principles. You will have some resources to follow along and give you some additional information, including the PowerPoint and an infographic on Charting the Life Course and the principles. The presentation on Charting the Life Course is presented by the Family Resource Network of Ohio through funding from the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities. So let me give you some background. Charting the Life Course is a framework that was developed by people with disabilities and their families. Ohio is part of a national network, National Community of Practice for Supporting Families, which means we get to learn from about 25 other states what they're doing, and we get to share with them what we're doing. In Ohio, our vision or our trajectory for using Charting the Life Course is that people with disabilities, their families, and professionals that support them all know about Charting the Life Course, use the tools and resources from Charting the Life Course for families and people to think about their life and then share that information with professionals who help them and also with their other family members. We want everyone to have a common language that they can use when they're planning and receiving support and help from others. What we don't want is people to just see Charting the Life Course as a bunch of forms or a bunch of paper that needs to be filled out. Our core concept in Charting the Life Course is we want all people, not just people with disabilities, but all people, to have a life where they can live, love, work, play, learn, and pursue their life aspirations in their community. We want everyone to have a good life. We want people with disabilities to have that civil right of self-determination, of having control over decisions affecting their life, to be seen as valued members of their community, and to be included. We want families to be supported in a way that recognizes their strengths and resilience so that they can turn around and nurture and love their family members. You're all familiar with person-centered thinking. It's a national way of thinking and planning and supporting people. We want everyone to have positive control over the life that they want. We want everyone to be valued. And we want everyone to be supported through paid relationships and unpaid relationships. In other words, we want people to have better lives, not just better paper. We have 8 guiding principles in Charting the Life Course. And just a reminder, Charting the Life Course is really a framework. It's a different way of having conversations. It's a different way of looking at expectations. And we encourage people to have high expectations and for people supporting them to say, no, you can't do that. We also know that it's important for people to have experiences across their lifespan. How can we expect people to know what they want to do if they haven't had experience? It's not just a program, and it can be used with anyone, regardless of age and abilities. So a lot of people will say, well, I can't use that because my loved one doesn't talk. It doesn't matter. We get the information from people's words, their actions, and from people who know them well. There are 8 guiding principles. You'll see them on the PowerPoint slides. First of all, we believe that this is helpful for all people. Second principle, we value the family system, and we know that anything that happens to one member of a family affects the whole family. We know the importance of having a vision of a good life or a trajectory across the life stages. So it's never too early or too late to have a vision of what you want in your life. So for parents of babies, we know they have a vision. They know what they want their baby, what kind of life they want their baby to have. But it's also important for people as they move through the life stages to have a vision. And it's also important to have experiences. Again, as I said before, how do you know what you want to do if you've never had experiences or opportunities? Just as important, how do you know what you don't want to do because you've tried something and it just didn't work out? In Charting the Life course, we talk about 6 life domains, parts of our life that we all talk about, areas of our life that define our quality of life, where we live, what we do, the relationships we have, our safety, our health, and also our advocacy, knowing our rights and speaking up for ourselves. We talk about 3 buckets of needs and support, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And having supports in integrated supports from 5 different areas. We also want people with disabilities and their families to be involved in all levels of policy making, decision making, everything that impacts their lives. Our focus in Charting the Life course is on the person, but we believe that the person exists in the context of family, whether that family is biological or chosen. So we take a holistic approach to supporting the person. As a sibling, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the importance of brothers and sisters and the role that they play in their brothers and sisters' lives. As I said, we talk about people existing in the context of family, and family is not defined by who you live near, but it's defined by the relationships that you have and the people that give you unconditional love. One of our principles is 3 buckets, the 3 buckets of support. So think about anything in your life. You have 3 areas of needs. Let's say you just got diagnosed with high blood pressure. Probably the first thing you want is, what does that mean? You want information, that blue bucket, if you look on the slides. Discovery and navigation. I want to know, what does that mean to have high blood pressure? And then we go over to the bucket of goods and services. What do I need to do? Do I need to take medication? Do I need to exercise more? What will help me? And then that 3rd bucket, talking to other people who have a similar experience. It's not just for disability, it's not just for medical issues, but it also can be for fun. If you're planning a vacation, you want to know information. And then you want to know what goods and services are there. Am I going to fly? Am I going to drive? Am I going to stay in a hotel, an Airbnb? Are we going to camp? And then talking to other people who have been there. Geez, have you been there? What did you like? What was fun? What did you do? In Charting the Life course, we also talk about 6 parts of our life, or 6 domains. So think about when you meet someone. First thing we ask somebody when we meet them is, what do they do? We might then say, where do you live? Oh, I know that neighborhood. I go to church in that area. You talk about your friends. Maybe you identify that you know mutual people. And then we talk about our healthy living. You know, maybe you ask, do you go to the gym? Do you go to the parks? You might ask about safety and security. How safe do you feel there? Or you might talk about, gee, do you know what to do in a snowstorm? Having grown up and lived in a snow belt my entire life, I'm always amazed at people who just don't have that experience and get very anxious if there's even a flake of snow coming down. And then we might talk about, well, gee, how active are you in your community? Do you advocate? Do you vote? Are you part of groups? These are areas of our lives that we all talk about. And then we talk about integrated supports. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, which fund a lot of the services for people with disabilities, say that we should be promoting full access to community life for people we support. So we should not be segregating them. And we also should be promoting lives that they want. In Charting the Life Course, we look at 5 areas of supports, starting with what strengths does someone have, or what assets do they have? What technology might help them? And don't think about just technology for people with disabilities, but think about day-to-day technology that we all use that help make our life easier. You know, the electric coffee pot, the electric toothbrush, the electric water pick, our smartwatches, our smartphones. Third area, we look at relationships. Who do you know that can help you? Who do you know that knows somebody that can help you? And then the fourth area, what's available in your community that all members of your community can access? And then the fifth area, what are you eligible for? What social services might you be eligible for? We know that getting supports in one of these 5 areas puts you at risk if something happens to those supports. So we always want to focus on getting supports in all 5 areas so that you have an integrated support system. So as we close, I just want to share some websites that might be helpful to you. The Family Resource Network of Ohio, LifeCourseTools.com, the Ohio Developmental Disabilities Council, and the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities. All of these websites are written and identified on the PowerPoint handout. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you find the information useful for you and your family.